the time I didn't even really realize that people would think it was so crazy. But yeah, I just signed up for a 155-mile race just to kind of see.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Culture Path Experience. I am your host, Reggie Chatman. I'm very, very excited to be joined by a very special guest. It feels like we're getting bigger and better every time we do this, and we're getting bigger and better guests, and maybe no best guest bigger than ours today. Manika Runs on Instagram, and what a superstar she is. She's amassed over 41,000 followers on Instagram. She runs different events, and she has really made a name for herself, not just here in the city of Atlanta, but throughout the world as she continues to build her brand. Mike, thank you so much for coming on our show. I'm really, really excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, look, you take one look at your Instagram account, and I told you this even before we started recording. It's just like insane what it is that you do. You do a lot of trail running, and you're moving up and down these mountains, and you're just doing incredible, incredible stuff. For the people who have never seen your Instagram account or have seen you before, what do they need to know about you as the trail runner that you are?
Yeah, I take big challenges and I take them on and I document my experience to be able to show everyone that it doesn't require you to be superhuman to do these things. Everyone can do it as long as you have like determination, dedication, desire to do it, you can do it too.
It's incredible. I mean, like I think, and I even joked about you on your Instagram. You've got this is a typical day eating on Mount Kilimanjaro. Like it's just like stuff like that that sounds like so insane to like the regular person, but for you, you seem very casual about it. I'm curious how you ended up getting into this, and how you've now made it all the way to this point where you're scaling incredible mountains and doing these incredible things, and not only just doing it, but have the ability as well to share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, so my journey into ultra running, trail running is quite funny. It literally just came about sitting on the couch watching YouTube. I saw a man doing a race that just looked amazing. He was out in the sand, beautiful blue skies. He was carrying a backpack and he was just running. He made it look so enjoyable. And I did at that time knew nothing about trail running, ultra running, but he just made it seem very exciting. And he was doing a 155-mile race out in Namibia, and from that point forward, I said, I whatever he's doing, I want to do it. And I didn't know anything, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to begin training. I'm going to sign up. I want to do this. And I began training for this race. And my sister said that you should document it. You should share what you're doing, show people, like what you're training for. And so I said, okay. And so I picked up my phone, and while I would run, I would just record myself running and talk about what I was doing, and I would post it to Instagram. And from that point forward, people got really interested in the story, and yeah, that's just kind of how it all began.
Well, I'm curious. You had to have some sort of athletic background in some way, shape, or form, right? I feel like people don't just wake up one day, see a video like that, and they're ready to go. I'm curious as to what is your background athletically, or did you play sports coming up and you were just like, like I can do this as well, or did you just kind of luck into it?
Well, I do have an athletic background. I was a track and field athlete all through middle school, high school, and college, but I was a sprinter. So the most I had ever did was 400 hurdles. I would, sometimes jump into uh, 800, but outside of running past a few seconds, I'd had no experience with running long, long, long distances.
What was it's funny as athletes, you sometimes when you're used to doing the thing that you do all the time, but having the transition to doing more longer distances, because I'm sure if you wanted to do long distances you would have been doing it already. So what made you make the decision like, yeah, I'm okay with actually exerting myself longer than this short sprint that I'm normally doing at the track?
Yes, I've been out of college now for almost, at this point, it's crazy. It's almost 17 years. And so out of college, I just began to do like 5Ks, just running around my neighborhood, just slow. I didn't go out and start sprinting after I graduated college. So I just kind of transitioned into like a slower paced running. And so, just your neighborhood 5Ks, went to jumping into a marathon, and that felt pretty easy. And I just thought, like, how much further can I take this? And so I decided, I'm ready for a bigger challenge. And I just went which at the time I didn't even really realize that people would think it was so crazy. But yeah, I just signed up for a 155-mile race just to kind of see. I gave myself a year to train for, so it wasn't that I just jumped up and did it. I did, give myself a lot of time to train.
Well, I think what's even funnier is you just going, yeah, I just jumped into a marathon and I thought it was pretty easy. Just another example of how this is just, your story is so insane. And if that wasn't the most crazy thing you said in the sentence, it was that 155-mile marathon. I mean, take me through the decision making process. You mentioned that event that you saw on YouTube. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the same event that you decided to train for and do yourself. Take people through that mindset of trying to do a race that's, I mean, just an incredible amount.
Yeah, so at the time, I mean, I did think it was crazy, but it sounded more so exciting for me. It felt attainable with proper training. Um, so yeah, every day. And I'm also the type of person, since graduating college, I didn't really want to have like a very structured route, like training routine. So I just said I'm going to train, put together my own program, do what I want to do each day, and just try to make it tough enough to where I could sustain getting through this race. So every day I would, get up and just do a little something, and I would each day build up my mileage to where I was running some days 30 miles. Um, so I got really, really strong. I really did. Um, yeah, and I just mentally just knew that this is a privilege. This is, an opportunity that is so cool, and I really want to go for it. And I have the, opportunity to do it, so just go ahead and do it.
And you did, and you made history. Take us through the history that you made running that race.
Yeah, at the time I didn't realize that I was the first African American. When I, first saw the race, I didn't know that there had been no African Americans to ever do it. And so that wasn't the driving force. But then when I discovered that that was, I was going to be the first African American woman to do it, I, used that as part of my story. And, it was very motivating and very, I will say that that got me through some of the hard times during the race because I wanted to be able to make everyone proud back home and, to achieve that title or that goal of being the first African American woman to do it, and also make myself proud because I knew I had trained so hard for it. So it was certainly not easy at all, but I was determined to complete it.
When you're building out a plan for trying to train for a race like that, what does that look like? You said you mentioned you. I mean, first off, just saying that I just went out and ran 30 miles a day. But how does one prepare for more than 150 miles? Like, is that something you had to see yourself do first, or you just said, I know if I can get to around, you know what I mean? I can't even fathom going from like even doing 30 to going on race day and going over 150. That's insane.
Well, for me, I'm the type of person, I don't know, like I don't think too deeply into like because it will scare my like it would scare me. So I just looked at it like if I can, because I knew the race was broken down each day into about 26 miles each day. And then there's a one big 50-mile day. And you're carrying 30 pounds of, your gear on your back because it's a self-supported race. So I just broke the training down to if you can be on your feet for 10, 12 hours a day, carrying this pack, even if you have to begin to walk, which is really what most of it is walking. Um, I just knew I just had to have the cardio strength. And I thought, just having a lot of cardio strength, I would be able to get through it, one way or the other. So I didn't really begin to make myself think like, okay, you only have done 30 miles. You would still have to do 120 miles. Like, can you actually do it? Like, I didn't think that way. I just thought, oh, I can do 30 miles. I can surely do 150. That's kind of for whatever reason how I thought.
So, because like I said, it's so foreign to the rest of us. So, how it breaks down is you do, but you said 30-ish miles in a day. You sleep, I assume, with your pack. It's just you by yourself, mostly for the most part. Are you camping? Like, you got to take us through this. I know it seems pretty normal to you now that you've done it, but to the rest of us in
Yeah.
the regular world, like it's like everything you tell me is brand new. And I'm sure for our viewers as well, they'd love to just hear the breakdown of how this race works and how you
Yeah.
managed to pull it all off.
Yeah, so it's about 150 people from all over the world. I think at the time there was like 40 or so countries that had came together for this race. And you're sleeping in tents. So the only thing that they provide for you is a tent and water. So you have a tent with about five other tent mates, and You carry your own, food, your clothes, everything on your back for the week, 7 days. Um, and you're designated a distance per day. So each day, like I said, is about 25 miles. And then you have a long stage day, which is about 50 miles for that day. And yeah, you get up in the morning, 7 o'clock, or you get up well before that, but you start the race around 7 a.m. And whatever time you get done for the day, you get into camp, you get your hot water, prepare your freeze dried food, you freshen up the best you can, and you get to sleep so that way the next day you can get ready to do it all over again. And by the end of it, you've run your 155 miles, and yeah.
I mean, it's how much are you sleeping? Like, what's the how are you eating? What's the recovery like? I mean, I'm sure after day one it sucks, so I'm sure after day six it's even worse.
So the food, you have to really dial it in before you arrive. Like, you're required to bring 14,000 calories, which breaks down to 2,000 calories a day. But of course, your body is burning so much more than that. So you have to really dial in what you're going to eat. So for me, leading up to the trip, I was really concerned about being hungry for the week. So my pack was pretty heavy because I brought a lot of food. I had my breakfast consisted of a freeze dried like oatmeal from Peak Refuel, and their oatmeal is like over 1,000 some calories, which is really good for what we're doing. So I was eating that in the morning, and then when you're on the trail, I would be consuming a lot of like snacks and hydrated and calorie full like drinks. Um, and then when I would get into camp, I would eat like a solid meal, which would be another 1,000 or so calorie meal. Um, so I would say I dialed in the food pretty good. I didn't lose any weight, and I also wasn't hungry, but my pack was heavy. So that's kind of like the toss up you have to have.
What about the conditions? Tell me about the conditions of being out there.
So it was listed as one of the hottest races in history. So we got temperatures close to 130 some days. Um, so you're
Degrees
in deep
Fahrenheit
degrees Fahrenheit. So
makes
it
sense.
rivals some of the hottest races on Earth. Um, and we actually had to cut one of the days short because it would have been, they said, just deadly for us to be out there for the amount of time that we would have had to be out there. So they cut our long stage day from 50 miles down to 42 miles so that we could be out of the hottest part of the canyons before the heat set in. So it was deep, soft sand, brutally hot, but stunningly beautiful.
Yes, that is insane. I mean, it's funny. You told me you just took 2 weeks and then did it again.
Well, during the race, I cried and I told myself I would never do it again. I would never do anything close to this again. And I was telling myself that during the race because I experienced blistering on my feet. And so I was in severe, severe pain with the blisters. Um, and so, of course, quitting was not an option. So I just, I prayed and it was just like, if I can get through this, I promise I will never put myself through this again. And something about these races where once you finish, you kind of you just forget what you've just gone through and you just remember all the good stuff. So 6 weeks later, I was in Mongolia doing the exact same format of a race. Um, yeah, and I loved it.
So now you're all in on it, man. Did you were you able to recover enough in time? Like that's the thing. I mean, you mentioned the blisters and the heat and the
Yeah,
problems. Like, what in the world got into you to think like, let me just go do this again? Especially like within
no,
like a certain amount of time. I mean, it's insane.
it really is insane. And I honestly can't explain what the thought process is to like want to do that again so soon. But yeah, I was able to recover. My feet healed up really well. I took the 6 weeks to not do anything really. So I went into the next race just hoping I had enough fitness from the previous race. And it translated pretty decently. It was tough, but I was able to get through it.
That's absolutely insane, man. I mean, how cool is that? And it's cool too because you've now taken stuff like these incredible races and brought it back to the city of Atlanta as the person who started Stone Everest ATL. Take me through the idea of this. You hear Stone, you hear Everest, which leads me to believe that we're talking Stone Mountain in Atlanta and Mount Everest. How in the world did you come up with some sort of idea to merge these two ideas together to create an incredible race.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've done Everest Base Camp a few years ago, and that was an
What?
amazing experience. Well, but well before my trail running experience, I would like to do different adventures. So I've hiked to Everest Base Camp back in like 2021. Um, but the idea of Everesting, which is what I put together, it's not a unique idea. There are other races and events that do similar with the elevation gain of Mount Everest. But it's never been done at Stone Mountain. And Stone Mountain is a very accessible mountain. You know, it's easy to get up. So I figure, why not use this mountain as a means to do the same kind of concept and also price point it at a place where it's more accessible to people because a lot of the Everesting events are extremely, extremely expensive, like 8,000 to enter. So I figure not, price point a lot of people out and make it a cool, challenge to get a lot of people on board to be able to experience it.
So, for people who are not familiar with these Everest events, the whole idea is that you scale something that's not Mount Everest, but have the amount of distance travel that you would on Mount Everest. For your event, you mentioned to me that it's 36 times up and down the mountain, and you have to do it within 36 hours. And that initially, when you told me, I was like, I could maybe do that, knowing that I probably can't. But then when you described it to me, there's only two people that have ever actually completed it. That's insane.
Yes. Yes, it's a very tough race, and the two men that have completed it have done other very big ultra endurance races, and they said that it's been one of the hardest, if not the hardest event they've done, but also the most enjoyable, and they loved it. So that makes me feel really good to hear, and I am excited for more people to take it on, and I know that more people will be able to finish it.
Well, and for somebody that has hiked to base camp of Mount Everest, gone to base camp of Mount Everest, how does it kind of compare? So I'm assuming that this is the distance would have been to the summit, or is it to get back to base camp based on the distance you're doing at Stone Mountain?
So I do have three distances available for the race. So there is a Everest Summit, which is the full 36 times, and then there's a 21 times up, which gets you to the base camp of Everest. Um, so as far as the actual getting to the base camp actually in Nepal, the comparison is Stone Mountain is much tougher, mainly because it's done much a shorter period of time, and the elevation that you're going at Stone Mountain is much steeper than you would over the span of time hiking each day to Mount Everest base camp. um yeah, it took me and my friend, we took like 10 days to get there, and it was casual, nice, easy pace, but for this it's a race and it's much steeper and faster.
I feel like we got to go back to the Mount Everest thing. There's only so many people that have ever really done that. What went into that decision, and what was it like? I mean, take us through the process of trying to get up to base camp there. And I am curious, did you ever have the idea of trying to get all the way to the summit? Because that feels like it's very dangerous.
Honestly, I have no interest to go to the summit of Mount Everest in person. For some reason, that's not something that's calling me. I don't think it ever will. But the experience to get to the base camp was amazing. We took, I think it was about 10 to 12 days to get to the camp. We would hike every day about 8 hours. You'd stay in like little huts or little tea houses, what they call them. And you prepare. Only thing is for that race, I mean, for that trek, which is really nice, you have porters. So they're locals who are carrying your stuff. And yeah, you just have a small day pack, and it's just an enjoyable hike through the Himalayan mountains. So it's stunningly beautiful. It's amazing. I would definitely do that again.
So okay, but here's the deal: can like a regular person do this? Because I mean, I'd be interested to go on a hike like this, but I mean, you also do incredible things that I couldn't fathom. So, I mean, is that a regular person thing that somebody could do, or do you have to be an expert like yourself to be able to get to just to the base camp?
I consider myself a regular person, and so I really don't feel that anything that I do is beyond what like a regular person could do. I think if you have just standard drive to, push past a little bit of discomfort, you can do it. Of course, there are going to be tough times, but I'm not some Olympic gold medal, you know, person. I literally just have a little bit of, or maybe a lot of determination. And I think if you have that, anyone can do it.
You have no idea what you just done for me, because as somebody that's maybe sometimes irrationally confident in myself, I will now be saying that I can do this with your recommendation. So I appreciate it.
Yes,
um,
absolutely.
so tell me through, take me through your Instagram and your social media accounts. We mentioned the idea of being able to showcase it with the world. What has been the process for you, I guess, because one, doing what you do is difficult, but through my job and through all this is recognizing that social media is also something that's difficult to like build and to edit and do all that stuff as well. What is, do you have a background in it? How did you kind of get into doing it? Not only just doing it, but doing it well.
Well, thank you. I have no background in editing or social media or anything like that. I just got started when my sister said I should record my training, and I just would hold my phone out and I would use at the time like just a little editing app, piece together clips, um, and now I use uh, another editing app and just post. There's not much. What's the word?
Strategy?
I Yeah, like I just post. I just love what I do. I post, and um it just does what it does. And so I think, I will begin to put a little more strategy behind it, because I know it could grow and I can make it more visible to more people. But for now, I just really enjoy what I do, document my experiences, and I post it.
What has it been like being able to see the response from people? Because like you said, it took your sister being like, "Hey, you should do this."
Yeah.
Seeing that your stuff is being seen by people, and I mean the comments and the views and people. What has it been like being able to actually have some feedback? Seeing the reaction of people recognizing what it is that you're doing.
Yeah. And I think, you know, people would always tell me, like my family or like close friends, like, "Oh, you're so inspirational. You're really, inspiring people." And I would hear it and it would feel really good to hear that. But then when I get the comments from the people themselves, it really helps me to see. And I just got a message, and I get these messages every so often. A man told me that I'm literally changing his life. And he is, hiking and sprinting, and he's, looking for trips. And it's like, or someone's now looking at doing Kilimanjaro, or just different things that I've done. And so for me, it's motivating to keep posting, keep sharing, because I do now see that the reach is there. People are being inspired to do, and try different things because of what I share. And I don't take that lightly at all.
Has there been a Was there a moment outside of that, man, where you saw something and you're like, "Oh, I'm doing this for the right reasons," and that like that it became bigger than just you trying to share it?
Hmm. Um, well, most recently I was invited to trek to Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
And that was a very like eye-opening moment for me, because I was invited out on this trip, and it was mainly because a company in Africa had seen my journey, and they wanted me to join and showcase Kilimanjaro with them. Uh, so it was like I'm realizing it's far reaching. Like I'm able to now be reaching people in different countries, and that's really cool. And I think even before then, just the different messages I've received from people from all different countries rooting for me. And the last thing I'll say that was really motivational for me, that I am inspiring people, was when I was in Namibia, in Mongolia, doing the different races that I've done. They have it where you can receive messages from family and friends and different things. And the messages, I received hundreds of messages of people like sending me encouragement when I was doing those races, and just reading through all the messages of people taking time out to send me emails during that race was like, wow, like this is like crazy to me. Like it was really cool to see that. So it's motivating.
Absolutely motivating. And I think the point of our podcast here on our website with Culture Path is to showcase people like that look like you and I, that are doing things that um, sometimes people think black folks don't love to do. So I think that, have you recognized that as a black woman that you're kind of trailblazing as well, outside of the fact that you made history doing that race, like showing more people that look like us that stuff like this is possible and that we should be taking more advantage of it in our daily life.
Hmm. Definitely.
I love that. I love that. And I think that have you recognized just the importance of that for you? Like, why is it so important that we get more people that look like us out?
I was on a race when I was in Mongolia on my long stage day where I was out 18 hours, mostly alone. And I was like, this would be so much more enjoyable for me if there was someone who looked like me, who I could be doing this with. And I know that it's important for me to be out there showing that we can do these things. And, there are Black people out here doing these things. And so for me, it's important to continue to do it, and to show the joy within it. I show the highs and the lows. I don't make it like it's all perfect, but also I show that it's worth the pain that you go through sometimes. And for me, I think Black people and brown people or whoever, like they see, but don't think that they can do it. And so I think it's important for me to show that it's possible. And like I said, I'm not a superhero. I'm not someone in like unreachable or untouchable. Like it's possible, and I think it's important for us to be out here.
All right, we were reaching somewhere near the end of our show here, but I did want to ask what's next for you. As somebody that's achieved so much already throughout all this, what continues to drive you to continue to do this, and what is going to be next for you as like a big major challenge?
As far as what's next, I don't know yet. I'm a very spontaneous person, so I probably will up and do something out in the trails in Europe, probably for the summer. I'm not sure yet, um, but that's what I'm probably leaning towards. And sorry, what was the second part to your question?
Really, I mean, it just what continues to motivate you and drive you to continue to do this? Like, where does it come from internally that you want to continue to push yourself to use that determination and challenge yourself like this all the time?
It's just an intrinsic thing for me. And I've tried to assess where it comes from, and it's very hard for me to pinpoint because I'm kind of like an oddball in my family. Like there's no one in my family who I can say like, oh, my dad loves to do this, and so I'm doing this because like, or my mom. Like, there's really no one in my family who understands like why I love what I do, and so I'm still trying to decide or figure out where it comes from. But whatever it is, it's intrinsic, and I love it so much, and so. Um, yeah, I'm going to keep going since it brings me so much joy. And I don't know what, is coming next, but whatever it is, it's going to be something I love, and it's going to be outdoorsy, and it's going to be fun.
Give people all of your information, shout out everything that you need to, because it feels like people need to see what you're doing, especially as you're looking to figure out spontaneously what's coming up this summer as well.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all under Manika Runs. Um, I'm primarily on Instagram. That's where I share stories, reels almost daily. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Monica, thank you very much for your time, and really excited to see how this continues to grow. And look, keep me updated on this Stone Mountain thing. I don't know if I can do it, but I'd be willing to try. For in the name of content, I'm always willing to try things. So let's see if we can get it together.
Nice.
Thank you so much for
That
your
sounds good.
time, and hope to talk to you soon. All right, thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.